So overall, it's not very large, it's not very comfortable, but it was designed for a specific purpose, to make sure that the operations of the city were unimpeded and uninterrupted during a major incident. So this room we largely did not touch at all, with the exception of putting the new electrical panel in. So these would have been kerosene-fired heaters that were inside the building. And they had stack pipes that would go up through the roof. So if you were in here and you needed a heat source, that's what was available to you. There is its own water heater well system. We left all of that as, you know, testament of the infrastructure that was here and kind of the conditions that we received it in. Again, there's not much to it. It's concrete and block structure below ground. You can see that the orientation here, you're going to make a 90-degree turn and then another 90 into the body. And then if you look past, you can see how the rear staircase is hidden behind the front staircase. It was last occupied in about 1983. There was an employee identification tag that was kind of pinned in the wall, dated for 1983. Other than that, I don't believe that anybody had largely been in there other than at one point in time, there was some 30-gallon cardboard containers that had provisions in it, and those were found to be degraded, and they had removed them at one point in time. So no one else has really been in the structure. When we opened it up, it was completely desecrated. It was mold infested. I mean, it was pretty bad. To the point where there was brand new nylon sleeping bags in one of the storage closets, and the nylon looked great. It had been perfectly preserved. But as soon as we took those sleeping bags out into the open air and unrolled them, all of the stitching had just fallen apart, and it was just panels of nylon. So it was kind of very like Egyptian pyramid type, surreal type experience. The moisture had been so bad inside that it had rotted through like the cots. They had like the fold-out army cots in there. They had cases of cans of water, and it was just a box with cans in it because the water had seeped out. At one point, there was a shelf full of light bulbs with cardboard sleeves on them, and it was just light bulbs. There was no cardboard sleeves left. So just to kind of paint a picture of what it looked like to go in there. And it had largely just been walked away from, and it did become a little bit of a storage grounds for a little bit. But we started the process by analyzing what the physical structure looked at. Because before we demolished it, we wanted to get all the stuff cleaned out. Once we cleaned it out, we determined that it was sound structurally. So instead of tearing it down, we elected to repurpose it, or at least rebuild it for a future purpose. So that led us to our prime 3 projects, which was the electrical, the ventilation, and the painting. The ventilation basically draws in 500 cubic feet per minute, and it still isn't quite enough on the most humid of days, because being underground, condensation forms on the walls and on the ceiling, but it does catch up when that, humidity levels out. We did stick with the original kind of like a seafoam green color that we discovered. I believe it was kind of painted like that to be a kind of a cheery color. It does have a single restroom toilet. It also has a urinal, a shower, and a sink. We left all of those items in there, although it does not have water service. We did leave the original light fixtures, but we did replace it with an LED light bulb. And of course, the ventilation is all new. We largely left untouched their utility room, which it has its own well water service. It has its own water heater, and you'll also see like the older pot style telephone lines. They were all copper. That electrified through the telephone system. So that guaranteed the communication if the power was down. One way in, one way out. The doors, from what I understand, are uniquely arranged, as well as the room is uniquely arranged, that when you come in, you walk down a hallway and the main body of the room is offset from the doorway. That way a blast doesn't come directly into the room. Also, the rear doorway is situated behind the front doorway. That way you wouldn't get hit from both sides at the same time and be kind of sandwiched in the middle. Other than that, we've replaced the doors, doors, the HVAC, and it was just simply a ventilation system. It's not heat, it's not air conditioning. It does maintain an average of about 50 degrees down there. My understanding is during the era it was built, the departmental directors were also the city council seats. So the facility was outfitted to have about 10 people in it. There was 10 sleeping bags in there. So it's again a bygone era of what was.